So this video is going to be two things. It's going to be first and foremost a guide on how to pace the 400-meter freestyle, and hopefully we're going to be treated to a great swim between Dan Jervis and Nathan Hughes in the heat after I swim, which is the second of the two things that hopefully happens today, and that I get my first PB in 2 years when I swim the 400 freestyle for the first time in 11 years, the first time since 2011, and my PB is 4:22. And if I'm not mistaken, I actually miscounted in that race and stopped with 50 to go. I'm not in any sort of shape for that sort of event, but I'm going to give it a go and maybe I'll get a PB today.
Before we go any further with this video, I just want to talk to you about my new website, TheSwimsuitGuy.co.uk. Yeah, I know, unfortunately .com was already taken, but hopefully in the future we can snag that domain as well. But the website is there for numerous reasons, but mainly just to do a couple of things. One is to help you swim faster. I talked about this briefly in another video, and I already have a few athletes who've signed up when I had it on Patreon. But we have a few options of coaching programs to do. We have an 18 and under age group program where you can join either the sprint or middle distance programs for a discounted rate. We then have the sprint program, that's 6 sessions a week, and these are sessions that have been done by the likes of Ben Proud, Florent Manadou, Bruno Fratus, and they're created to be the best sprinters. There's a lot of power work, USRPT and sprint specific drills. When you sign up, you'll get an onboarding call with myself, and with every plan you get a free The Swimsuit Guy t-shirt as well. The middle distance plan is 8 sessions a week, so you get 2 extra from the sprint, but they're not just the sprint sessions with 2 extra sessions. They are all sessions for middle distance swimmers. So there's going to be a completely different range of training. We then have a master's plan, which is a little cheaper. It gets you 4 sessions a week. And these will be a combination of all things. You'll get some sprint sessions in there, some middle distance sessions in there, some technique, the whole works. And lastly, it's a little bit more expensive, but you can have me as your personal coach. But lastly, we're going to have some t-shirts and merch on sale. Right now, I've got limited stock left of my original t-shirt with my previous logo. I mean, once these are gone, they're gone. And we really are nearly out of these. There's only large and extra large left. Small, medium are fully sold out. But there is some really cool designs coming. And I am going to be launching a giveaway that involves this website really soon. In fact, it's going to be my next video. So if you want to see that, subscribe to the channel. If you want any of these things that I'm offering on my website, please do not hesitate in checking out the swimsuitguy.co.uk. Link will be in the bio of this video. And also there'll be timestamps for this whole 400 freestyle video if you want to skip between races. Okay, without further ado, let's keep going.
To the main topic we want to talk about, and that's how you pace the 400 freestyle. And I'm going to try and heed my own advice, but I'm really worried I'm going to go out too fast. And if you look at an elite international level, the best 400 freestyles are paced very evenly or even negative split. If you look at the Olympic final where Ahmed Hafanui won in Tokyo, he done so in a negative split time. And the same with the recent world short course record by Li Binji of China, swam again a negative split on each 200. So with that in mind, what I would suggest you do is you feel very easy and relaxed on that first 100. Optimized easy speed, and you keep the legs real relaxed. The legs stay relaxed, the tempo ups a little bit into the second 100, and then the third 100 is where you're going to make your first kick. That can be done with a little bit more kicking, but maybe with a little bit more tempo on the arms. And on that last 100, you're going to go all legs. A perfectly swum 400 freestyle will probably have the middle 2 100s, so the second and third 100, very evenly split, and the first and the last 100 also very evenly split. So for example, 1 minute, 104, 104, 1 minute. It is, without the dive, very hard to make the last 100 as quick as the first 100, so you might end up with something like 59, 104, 104, 61. But you still want to try and see how even you can make them 200 pieces. And if you can make them even or even negative split, you've probably got a damn good 400 under your belt. Now for me, I don't know what I'm going to do today. It's like I said, first time swimming in 11 years, and I'm not prepared for this sort of event in any way. But I wanted to have some fun, I wanted to challenge myself, and anything under 422, I'll be really quite happy with. So fingers crossed I can get a PB. I'm going to go warm up.
So here we go with my 400 freestyle. I'm in lane 5. I've got the best start, as you can see. And I'll be honest, I was very nervous for this race. Like, super nervous. My hat split on the blocks. I literally, about 20 seconds before I dived in, I had to run behind where I was sitting, get a new hat. And as you can see, I'm probably going out a little high on the stroke rate. This is a 46 stroke rate, which we'll see what Nathan is going out later today. But I think, you know, you'd be ideally a little lower than that. And I did split a 27.6, which probably bodes way too well for me if I was going to, you know, hold that sort of pace in. And my legs are doing the most they do in this whole race in this first 100. Already the legs have started to disappear. And I don't do much kicking. That's one of my biggest weaknesses in training, and it's really apparent in this race. My rate has dropped to 42 already, and this I wish was the pace I settled into, because it was a 30.6 and I'd have had a nice sub 4 minute swim if I could have just held that. I was at 58.3, which was probably way too bold. But having spoke to Joel Knight, who was a distance freestyler and now head coach of Swansea Aquatics before the race, he said, well, you've got speed, Sonny, why don't you just use your speed instead of, you know, trying to go out conservative and still dying. And that's the reality of this race for me. I was going to die no matter what, and you know, I'm hoping that's not a spoiler, but I really try to stroke rate lower now. I've gone down to a 33 stroke rate, which is probably quite applicable. And oh, my turns are draggy, and that was a 32.2, so I'm actually, that was still the third best split of my entire race. And it's now I actually find my groove, and that is what is going to be 33s for the rest of the race. It's still a 33 stroke rate. You know, in my head I was trying to control from this point on and then really start to have a kick with 100 to go, like I talked about. But in reality, I never really recovered, and I just sort of couldn't do anything really to speed up. Double breathed in some turns. I started breathing out on the first stroke, which is something I don't like. I really don't like, and I'm not happy about doing. My legs are just doing so little, and I could see this guy on my right in the corner of my eye. I think he's a 16-year-old, and everyone was really cheering him on the sidelines, which kind of made me want to beat him. And yeah, I could see him coming at me, and I didn't really know how to respond, because I can't actually like tell you how much my arms hurt at this point. Like, they didn't do anything. And just to clarify, I've been 33.3 and I was out in 2:03.9. Then I was 33.3, then I was 33.2, then I was 33.7, then I was 33.4 right at the end. So I kind of just got into that 33 groove, and my 100 splits were 58.3, 105.6, 106.5, and then I finished on a 107.2. So I did just slowly get slower. And you know, I'm trying to do more. I've picked up my stroke rate a lot, because at this point I'm just swinging for the fences. So I've gone up from that 33, and I'm now at, let me just get the stroke rate, I'm doing this live, 41 stroke rate. So I've been all over the place in this race. I've gone from 46 down to 33, back up to 41. Like, you know, there's nothing really optimal here, and I'm doing no fly kicks off the wall. Matey boy I'm racing has got fly kicks, and yeah, you can see him overtake me now as we go into this last 50, and you know, it was game over really from there. We turned almost together, and I think he beats me by 3 seconds at the end. I really am doing everything I can to not get beaten here. Like, you can see me just swinging up to 43 stroke rate. But the issue here is, and why I've not been able to have a successful 400 freestyle, is because I have got no legs to support me. So my body position's low, and it doesn't matter how much I try and do with my arms, my legs just aren't supporting me. Look at the guy who's beating me. His legs are kicking high and heavy and powerfully, and mine are just sort of wallowing behind me. But it was a 5 second PB. I've been negative the whole time. It's a 5 second PB. It's a 4:17, and I'll still take that. 4.59 second PB. There you can see on the Meet Mobile. So we're going to now move on to the next race. So this race was supposedly going to be a showdown between two Swansea Aquatics athletes, Daniel Jervis, a mainstay on the Team GB for the 1500 freestyle, and Nathan Hughes, a good friend of mine and someone who come from the same East region in the UK as me. Now swims at Swansea and is again a GB swimmer, mainly in the open water events. He won the Len Cup this year in the open water representing Team GB, which is a great accomplishment. But Daniel Jervis pulled out. We don't know why. So Nathan is who we'll be looking at in this race, and just basically seeing what he does differently to me. I will just quickly preface that Nathan isn't tapered or rested for this meet. This was his first meet of the season, his first short course meet, his first in a long time. So, you know, when we do get to the National Championships next weekend, which he's racing at, the English Nationals, he will be more rested, and therefore we'll probably see better splits and something more akin to what I sort of described you want to be doing in a 400 freestyle, and that probably will come through on a much better last 100. But Nathan starts off with a 41 stroke rate and opens in a 26.3 and then a 28.9 for a 55.3 100 freestyle, and that's all again with a 41 stroke rate. Now, as he moves into the second 100, instead of having a massive drop off in stroke rate like I did, which was a 13 strokes a minute drop off, he drops off to something like 40.2 to 39.8. So a really nice grouping of 39 to 40, and the biggest thing we see is that the arms stay the same, but the legs just relax a little bit, and he's not kicking with as much power as he might have in that initial stage of the race, and definitely not kicking with as much power as we'll see him change to in the last 100. And he kind of just gets into a really nice groove of 29s now, and with the exception of the first 100, every 50 split of this race for Nathan is 29s, and you kind of see that at the elite level, especially the first 100 and the last 100 are sort of, you know, different, but the middle 200 and elite level, and Nathan included, the splits will be very similar, and they'll be grouped really nicely, and that what they will probably do is they'll pick up a little bit on the second to last 50 and a lot on the last 50, and I'm sure Nathan will do the same when he comes to his tapered form in a week's time, which will be 2 weeks after this meet. And you know, but he gets into a really nice rhythm on the stroke rate with these 29s. He goes 29.5, 29.9, 29.7, 29.9, and then he doesn't really pick that much up on the second to last 50 of a 29.9 and drops 0.5 on the last 50 of a 29.3. So he still kind of does do the splitting I described, with the second fastest 100 being the last 100, and he splits 55.3, 59.4, 59.6 and 59.2. But as I said, we would ideally have a little bit more pickup, and look, we can see the legs coming. This is what I didn't have. Look at these legs really starting to kick on this last 100 from Nathan. It really is an impressive thing to be able to do, and you see it with the top guys at the international level, be it Elijah Winnington, Ahmed Hafanui, Matt Corton, you know, any of these great 400 freestylers, they have an incredible kick at the end, and it really does separate. And to be able to do this, not just for the last 50, but for the last 100, is both brave and really tiring. You saw me, someone who's not conditioned, trying and just unable to react in terms of what my legs can do. And, you know, it really is a testament to how hard these guys work. This is not an event for the, you know, the faint-hearted. And, you know, 400 freestyle results will see improvement with both good pacing but good work in training. And, you know, I was talking to Nathan about what him and Dan Jervis are doing, and they're doing a lot of meters and a lot of work at the moment. And then we see splits on the board, a 3.53. Nice job, Nathan. And that is a wrap on this video, where I talk a little bit about how the best way, or a way, to pace the 400 freestyle is, and showed you a pretty decent 400 freestyle and my one, which was a PB, and that is worth celebrating. If that's not worth a like, maybe my new haircut is, and go check out my website www.theswimsuitguy.co.uk. As always, I'll see you on the next video.